Alright, what's going on, guys? We are officially in the middle of weekend 2, the final weekend of the Vanguard beta. It's open now, no pre-order needed, all platforms, so I'm assuming by now almost everyone has had a chance to at least try it out. If not, they said they extended it until Wednesday, so that's cool, but I think I've put enough time into it to where I feel I can give my final review of the game, or I guess not the game, but at least the beta, which, as we know, is probably going to be very close to the real game. But first, real quick, let me address the gameplay and then we can get into it. So this is a 139 and 4 double V2 double nuke gameplay, little 10v10 Hotel Royal Dom. It's actually not my most kills. I had 158 kills on Eagle's Nest, but I only had one V2, so I thought this was a little better. I don't know, who cares? Anyways, I'm using the MP40. I really like the MP40, man. It feels great. So this is obviously from the second weekend, so I got the chance to play with my son, and let me tell you, man, the lobbies were looking real different weekend 2, man. You know, skill-based matchmaking is clearly back, just as strong as it was the last 3 years or whatever. I don't think anyone should be surprised that it's back. It's not going anywhere. It's never going anywhere. Every COD from now on is going to have skill-based matchmaking, so you just got to kind of deal with it or get around it or just not play, really, I think are your only options. But let's talk some changes from weekend 1 to weekend 2, and then I'll give some overall thoughts on the game. So the main thing they did was adjust the visibility. So people ended up finding out why exactly it was so hard to see enemies in this game, and it turns out there was some sort of weird distortion effect when you shot your gun at people that made the guy you're shooting at literally distorted and blurry on your screen, so you couldn't shoot them properly. Now listen, not to be rude, but let's be honest here, you gotta fire whoever the fuck came up with that idea, man, because they have no business working on multiplayer for any video game out there. That's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard in my entire life. That's like anti-competitive. I don't even understand the reasoning behind that. It just makes absolutely no sense why you would do that. It's just unbelievable. So thankfully they got rid of that. They also changed armor from fast recharge to slow. I mean, okay, cool, whatever. The other main issue that we had obviously was the audio. Now they said they haven't fixed it yet and they're still working on it and they are planning on fixing it for launch. So the audio is still terrible, which I'm sure everyone noticed, but they are claiming it's going to be fixed at launch. So I guess we'll see, man. I don't know. And then finally, we did get a new map for the second weekend, Eagle's Nest. The map's all right. You know, it's small. I don't know if I'd say small, but it's on the smaller side, at least as far as maps go. So that's cool, but I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say there might be like 150 doors and windows on this map that can be like broken. And honestly, I don't like that feature, man. Like, I just think it's a dumb feature. I don't see how it's cool for somebody to, like, poke a hole in the window and, like, snipe me through it, man. Like, that's lame. There's nothing you can say that's gonna convince me that that's a cool feature, man. Like, that's just stupid. So, I really try to stay out of the middle area on this map, you know, and I stay on the sides. If you do that, I find it pretty enjoyable, but I'm definitely not going into the middle trying to play hide and seek. That's kind of it for the changes. Let's get into the final review. Overall, the game is decent. I am playing on PC, let me just say that. I think PC is almost required for this game. I did play it on PS5 at first, and it was acceptable. It was fine. It wasn't great or anything. But if you're playing on like last gen, like PS4, Xbox One, it's terrible. I think especially on Xbox had like a lot of issues. I saw how like the screen was just like tearing and it was like glitching out and stuff. I don't know if they fixed that later on or not. But I saw some really bad like clips on Twitter and stuff. So I think if you're playing on last gen, I don't know if it's even worth playing this game. If you guys remember back in like Black Ops 3, people used to like go back and make videos on like what Black Ops 3 looks like on Xbox 360 and it looked terrible. It looked like Minecraft. That's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think it's quite at that level, but it's pretty bad, man. So I don't know what they're going to do about last gen, which is kind of weird because, you know, I played Cold War on PS4 at the very beginning of the year when the game first came out and it was fine. You know, I didn't really have any issues with it, but this game is just completely different, man. It's just terrible on last gen consoles. But aside from that, I think Vanguard basically suffers from the exact same problem that we've had for like the last 5 years of Call of Duty, and that's just that for whatever reason, they suck at making maps now, and I don't know what that is, but like, if we were to look at the return to boots on the ground until now, because I think it's hard to compare boots maps to jetpack maps, you know what I mean? Like, it's way two different things, but if we just look at boots until now, right? So World War II, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare, Cold War, and now Vanguard, I don't think a single map from any of those games would make it into like a top 10 Call of Duty maps of all time list. And so far from this beta, from the 4 maps that I've seen, I'm not impressed, man. And I was thinking about this, based on how the previous betas have been, usually they end up putting some of the better maps of the game in the beta, right? If you just think about all the previous games. So if these are the best maps that Vanguard has to offer, I'm a little scared to see what else is in the game, man. We might see some Stonehaven level shit. I mean, who knows, man? And that's really unfortunate because I think other than the maps, the rest of the game is very solid. Like, I really like the guns, how they feel, you know, how the gunfights feel. Like, I really like the STG, the MP40. Like, it feels good, and I think the kill streaks are pretty good. They're not great, they're not amazing, but they're pretty solid. You know, thank God they added dogs, because if they didn't have dogs in this game, the streaks would be pretty weak. I don't love the create a class system that they have. I just think 10 attachments is way too many to have on your gun, and there's like 80 different attachments to choose from. Like, it's just a little too confusing, man. Like, you know, I know they cater these games towards the casuals these days, right? But like, if I'm a Call of Duty veteran and I'm actually good at the game, I know what I'm doing, and I'm getting like confused looking at all these attachments trying to figure out what type of class to make, I can't imagine like a casual player who has no idea what they're doing getting on and like having an easy time making a class, you know what I mean? So I don't really understand why they have so many attachments. Well, actually I do understand. I think it's because of Warzone. They have to have Gunsmith now, but I just think 10 attachments on a gun is just way too much, man. But I can deal with that. I don't care, whatever. I'll figure it out. So overall, I mean, the game's solid, right? It really is. Unfortunately, we can't really get a good map to play on. And also, I will say, squad spawns are just a horrible idea. I don't know why they brought that back. So if you don't know what a squad spawn is, if you think about Modern Warfare, the easiest way to think about it is shipment. You know, if you ever played shipment on Modern Warfare, when you see like one person spawn, even if you're like standing next to them where you should technically be blocking that spawn, like 6 of his teammates will spawn on top of him. Like, they're all just squad spawn up together on the same place. That's what a squad spawn is. It's back in this game. I don't know why they love that so much. It's weird. I mean, it's tolerable, I guess. You just kind of have to adjust and like kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Like, even if you're standing there, you might not be blocking them, so be aware that someone could spawn on top of you. You know, you got to be ready for the gunfight. I think the mode where it really is terrible is Patrol. I honestly think Patrol might have the worst spawns of any game mode in the history of Call of Duty. Like, they don't make any sense. It is just absolute chaos. It can be fun at times, of course, you know what I mean, when you're getting multi-kills or whatever. It can also be terrible when people are just spawning like right on top of you, you know, so it's kind of crazy. That's pretty much it, man. You know, final thoughts. In my experience, 6v6 in this game was pretty boring, not very good, but I did enjoy myself playing Ground War. Even on the smaller maps, I think you at least want to play 8v8, and then on the bigger maps, you probably want to play at least 12v12, if not 18. If you stick to like those guidelines, try not to play too much 6v6, you'll probably find yourself having a little bit more fun with the game, but that doesn't excuse them for making these, you know, poor maps. I wouldn't say the maps are trash. I mean, they kind of are, dude. It depends. Like, 6v6 on the snow map is trash, but if you play Ground War on the snow map, it's not too bad. You know what I mean? Like, none of the maps are like Stonehaven or anything like that, but they're not Raid, you know? They're not impressing me either, so hopefully the real game has better maps, but I mean, I wouldn't get our hopes up, man. If we've learned anything for the last like couple years, probably not. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Y'all let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Check out my last video if you missed it. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.